Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar. Don't come for me, please don't. And I'm already mad at myself because I procrastinated so long that now I have 8, maybe 9 hours left before it's time for me to, like, for real, go to sleep for work. Um, Tomorrow's my half day and I gotta go in the middle of the night and all that stuff. But I wanted my hair to be done before I do that because I don't know what kind of week I'm gonna have. And I already told y'all, despite whatever they do, if they randomly had me on a schedule or they change my schedule, I don't care. I'm taking off. I'm going to the festivities for the holiday coming up or whatever. Whether I celebrate the holiday or not, that's going to be the last time this function happens, and I'm going to it. So it is what it is. So because of things that have been going on, I have really procrastinated a whole lot. My hair ain't done. I was gonna do knotless braids. It still ain't done. I washed my hair, hallelujah in the name, but my hair is super thick. So um, normally, if I know I'm gonna do braids or something like that, normally I will stretch it out because it's so hard to like it. Well, it's not that it's hard; it's just that it's so thick and it's just it takes so much extra time for me to get through each section. You know what I'm saying? It takes a whole lot, like, to get it in the braid so that it can blend with the hair and all of that if I don't stretch it out. So I'm debating on if I'm gonna add some water to it and stretch it out, or if I'm wash it again real quick and do like I don't know. But now that I've gotten that out of the way, let me tell y'all about what was going on last week at work because I told y'all I was gonna come to y'all. Some things popped off. Y'all, I have a video of something that happened. I have a picture of another, and I might do a screenshot to show y'all something that literally just happened less than an hour ago. Of course, well, the end of the correspondence, because the correspondence started at like 2 something this morning. I woke up out of my sleep and was like, "What is going on here?" But yeah, it's going to go along with things that I've been telling y'all for the longest. So I'm just saying it is what it is. So let me go ahead and get into it because I need to get started on my app. So last week, it was all right. My last night at work, y'all, I was going all the way through. I ain't never been that sleepy. And that was a 12-hour shift too. Y'all, I ain't never been that sleepy. I don't know how I was able to hold my eyes open. Oh Lord, he just texted me again. Hold on, let me see. Dang. So, but yeah, I'm probably gonna screenshot and show y'all what was going on. I just have to eliminate what? Keep on texting me. What happened? I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to get him to tell me the specifics about what that went down because it's a wrap right now. He tired, and he one of these people that once you try him, try. Okay, so anyway, I get there, but anyway, I thought the correspondence was over. My bad. That was so random. Okay, y'all. So anyway, I'm working. Everything had been going okay or whatever, but my last day of work, I was going all the way through. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know how I stayed awake, but I was barely making it. It was times that I was like, when I went on my lunch break, oh no. First of all, I had forgotten my lunch, so I ain't had no food. All last week, every day except like the last day or the last 2 days, I was bringing muscadines to work. And I forgot that day. And I'm looking like, what in the world am I gonna do? This is not like it's my half day. Like today, I might not bring nothing. I have no idea. But yeah. Okay, y'all. I don't remember where I left off, but hopefully I'm somewhere close to where I was. I had to get up and go do something real quick. But anyway, y'all. So uh everything seemed okay. With this particular shift that I'm working, I come in and work a half. Now, unless I'm at the top of the rotation list, then I might have to pull the 12, whether it's the when I first come in, prior to me having to work the normal shift, or on the back end having to stay over, which I definitely hate. I hate that when I'm working my regular schedule, doing my regular job. I definitely would hate it if I had to do it doing this job because I would get paid less. That's 6 more hours of getting paid less. Oh, absolutely not. But anyway, there's just a difference. Like you can tell the difference. So anyway, we starting the week off, y'all. I don't even think we started the week yet. Meaning we were at the meeting. We were at the first meeting of the week for us. So we came in and I'm like, okay. And so before the meeting even started, my friend, the guy who is like T-Pain without the locks, the money, and all of that or whatever, he said, yeah, basically said old boy texted him and said that he was coming back. And he asked me, did I know about it? And he asked me, basically asking me if the people who do our schedule said anything. I was like, no. And I was like, I just got to the point now, y'all, don't nobody tell me nothing until the last possible second when it comes to this. When I tell you I find out from everybody else prior to them, and I just be looking at them like, ain't nobody saying nothing to me, so I'm not going to believe nothing until they come and tell me, which, it's the right thing to do. But at the same time, how are they hearing about it before me when I'm the person that's going to be affected by this? Like, this never makes sense to me. Like, this place is ridiculous when it comes to certain things. But yeah, anyway, so he went in his phone and he, read off what the messages was. And he was like, well, I don't know. That's just what he told me. So I was like, okay. So in my mind, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. So when we coming in, now we're walking towards the different areas that we work in for the week. And the heifer, who don't even deserve to have no job back there, who lazy, who trash. Anyway, she rolled up on me and was like, hey, I think she finna tell me, about certain things going on, because this is our half day. They're leaving out at 2 a.m. We come in at 2 a.m. and we crossing paths. And so she stopped me. She was like, hey, okay, I just wanted to let you know that next week you're going to be going to the other shift and then you'll come back the following week. And I'm looking like, huh? She was like, what shift is this? I was like, what you talking about? What you're leaving on or what I'm leaving on? Because I'm like, girl, how you don't know your own shift? She work on B shift and I'm on D shift currently. So I was like, are you talking about the shift that you're working or are you talking about the shift that I'm working? She was like, the shift that I'm working. I said, B shift. She was like, you're going to come to B shift next week and then for a week. And then you're going to go back to D shift after that because I'm going to be doing scheduling and all this other stuff. I was like, oh, okay. And I was just looking at her after she passed. I was like, girl, why? Because in my mind, it don't make sense. Right now, they have a permanent person that's missing and has been missing for months on the shift that I'm on currently. Even though I don't like this shift, and a lot of people look at me sideways for thinking that the other shift is a better shift to be on. I don't know. I just don't have it. I feel like it's the leadership. It's the leadership or something. I don't know what it is. I'm not here for them. I like B shift, and that's always been my preference over D shift. Every time I put in for something and I had my interviews, they asked me which one did I prefer over the other, and I would say B shift every time. Now, most people would prefer D shift because when you get off on Saturday morning and you have the weekend if you're not scheduled to work. So you're off. And I'm like, I get that, but I'm not one of the people that's hung up on, oh my gosh, I want my weekend. I don't care nothing about that. I'd rather be off on Wednesday. I'd rather get off Wednesday and not see y'all no more till Saturday night. Bye. I don't care nothing about that. To me, for me, I feel like it's easier for you to travel in the middle of the week versus the weekends because everybody going to the beaches and everybody clogging up the roads on the weekend. Only time it doesn't work in your favor is if the holiday falls in the middle of the week. That's the only time. But that's just me. I don't care about the rest as long as I get my days off. So anyway, y'all. So I ain't even started working yet. And I'm looking like, really? Okay, so I'm about to be screwed because now at this point, it seems like now I got to see, am I going to get booted back and now I'm going to have to do my old job? And like, well, how is all this gonna go? Like, I hate not knowing stuff. I hate not knowing stuff in advance that's gonna affect me. I don't like that. I need to know in advance what's going on. So stuff like this irks my soul. So as of right now, it's next week now, right? And they have me on the schedule. And so if you've been out of work for a while at my job and then you come back, they put you in something that's kind of like, making sure you still know what you're doing and you're kind of being trained again before they release you back to what you was doing before. But they kind of made it seem like if it is true, because I went to staffing and I asked about it. I went to the staffing office and I asked the scheduling office or whatever, I asked the folks, had y'all heard anything? I've been told that he's coming back. And they were like, well, we haven't gotten any correspondence from HR. Nobody up front. Ain't nobody said nothing. So I don't know what he talking about. But My friend was up there when I asked this, and she told me, she said, well, it don't matter what he say, he has to send something in, and then they approve it and say, okay, he's okay to come back. And before he can really be released and be full time on the schedule like that, he has to pretty much train. So I might still be back there, even though he's still in the it, and has come back into the building. So I don't know how this is gonna go. We gonna see. I'll let y'all know as it unfolds. But right now I'm already on edge, like, okay, how this gonna go? Because it's been working out of my favor because I have not had to have dealings with the raggedy heifer. Y'all know the side heifer. The heifer who, thrives on being a side chick. Like, girl, bye, I ain't got time for it. And she in her feelings because the man that she's screwing wishes he could be screwing me. And I wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire. I'm just saying. Like, anyway. So we do our job, and it was kind of a long day, that half day, when I went in last week, a week ago. It was kind of a long day. Finally got through it. I was like, Lord. But, when that happens, that's the one thing that I don't like about this schedule, so to speak, is because when I go in, I get off, and I got to go right back in on the same day. So if you're not disciplined with how you're going to sleep, then you might not make it. Or you are okay and you're that type of person. You ain't really got to sleep like that. And, luckily, whatever. Okay, y'all. Mind my business. One day I came in. So I actually got there a few minutes earlier. So I was standing at the clock. I see this dude. Y'all just saw him in my videos before. Well, me talking to him. And I've talked to y'all about him before. He's somebody who used to do my job. And now he does something else or whatever. So whenever I see him, we talk to each other and all this other stuff. I think I told y'all he cussed me out the other week. He cussed me out the other week. It was so random. I was just like, why would you do this? Like, I'm talking about, I had a witness and everything. But then the next time I see him, he gonna try to act like he didn't see me. And that's not what happened. I'm like, sir, you cussed me out in front of the people who make our schedules. Like, let's not do this. But anyway, y'all. So I'm talking to him. And so the woman that I keep telling y'all about, this like 50 something, she rolled up and was like, hey, how you doing? Talking to old boy. It was like, I heard like a month ago somebody got fired. And so he was looking like, okay. She said a name. So he and I both said the same thing at the same time, which is that, oh no, he's not fired, da 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 da. And so she gonna go on to say that she saw the wife at the stove, and she said that her husband got fired from there, and his name was this, that, and the other. And I was just like, I just saw him the other day. And so she was like, there might be another person by that name. And so we thought about it, and he looking like, huh? Now keep in mind, y'all, he does the same job of the person that supposedly got fired that has this name. And I'm like, girl, I don't know nobody else with that name. I only know one person, and that man come to work every day. He faithfully works. He everything. I knew him before he ever started working here. His mama is a vibe too. His mama actually tried to get me on as a social worker, but because of how little I knew about the lay of the land here and all that stuff, it wasn't gonna work. So, but yeah, his mama fine. If y'all looked at her, y'all would not think she was 50 something. I think she's 50 something. His mama looked maybe 35. She looks 10 to 12, maybe 15 years younger than what his mama fine. So anyway, but her son is everything. He started off, when he came in the door, my friend was like, well, you work with her son. I said, who? Because we had just had a new group of people to come in. And he told me his name. And I said, I know you lying, because he does not look like his mama. So I was just like, who you talking about? And rolled up on him. And I was like, so somebody told me. And he looking at me like, I was like, so somebody told me that your mom is blah, blah, blah. We had a good old conversation. Man, we've been thinking things ever since I told him that or whatever. So anyway, so I'm telling her, I was like, oh, well, I just saw him the other day. And so she was like, it's probably another person. But the way she said it with attitude. And I was just like, okay. So I looked at the clock. I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to clock in. I ain't got time to be late for this meeting. And so I walk off from them because she's still trying to talk to him, trying to get details to see if the person got fired and what happened. I can't tell y'all the details because again, that would give away where I work or what I do or whatever. So anyway, some stuff went down. But in the past, when this situation has happened, I ain't never heard nobody getting fired behind it. So I'm like, okay, this person must have had all kinds of occurrences and some more because. But at the same time, the name that she throwing out is not adding up because the people that do that particular job, they all work 12-hour shifts, which means there are only two different groups of people that do that job. I know of him having that name. I ain't never heard of nobody else having that name that does that job. So when me and the dude that was talking before she rolled up, we thought about it and we was like, oh, you talking about child was talking about a whole nother person that don't do their job. And she was like, no, he do the same job you do. And I'm like, girl, ain't nobody else by that name. No, nobody else got that name but him that do that job. Now, since I've been there, I have come across three. One of them was somebody who interviewed me, which means they work up front and don't do that job. The guy who was doing my job, but now he does the job of the other person that I was just talking to. And the other one that still currently does my job, he ain't trying to move to no other position. I don't know. He's all right at his job, but I'm actually shocked that he doesn't try to, apply for other stuff. Those are the only three people with that particular name that works on our shift. And she was trying to make it seem like, well, maybe it's another shift. And I'm like, girl, I know the names of all of those people. So the only way that she would have been right in this situation is if it was somebody brand new that was following them and training. I ain't never heard nobody having that name outside of the people that he and I named off, but go off though. But guess what though? When we got to the back, we ended up having to work together, right? Because we're working in the same department. So we ended up having to work together. She would talk to me for like almost the first half of them 12 hours that we worked, right? But guess what ended up making it so we can kind of talk again? Child, insert the video at this point in time. Listen, I done came back from one of my breaks, minding my business. Now, keep in mind, I tell y'all all the time, I be minding my business. People roll up on me while I'm coming back from break, while I'm going to break. I'm going to the meeting, first coming in the door, everybody rolling up. I'm trying to leave out for the day, everybody rolling up. People always rolling up on me, no matter who it is, right? I'm going through the door. I'm in the building at work. Why is a snake slithering across the floor in front of me? So I open the door and I see the snake. And this is why I tell people all the time, they be like, oh, you need to lift your head up. It ain't because I'm sad most of the time. It's because I'm looking at the ground because I'm always leery of a snake somewhere. Now, I wasn't, too thrilled that I saw it in this building. But the thing about where I work is usually when animals are in the building or whatever, I'm not at work. And I hear about it after the fact. So I'm like, okay. Now, like I said, the snake is slithering across the floor, right? I'm like, Lord, please, Jesus. So it's going away from me across the floor. So I'm like, Lord, okay. Now I'm petrified of snakes. I said proud and loud, I ain't seen no snake, no live snake, since I left home, Montgomery, Alabama, 10 hours away. I ain't seen no snake in at least the last 15 or so years. I ain't seen no snake since I left home in 2009. I left home at the end of 2009. I ain't seen no snake since then. Why the snake in the building? Nobody to be found. So this one dude, he kind of knew. He was like maintenance or whatever. So he looking at me as he's coming from the other direction. He looking at me and I was like, there's a snake right there. And so at first he was like, huh? And I was like, there's a snake. So I'm thinking he gonna come get the snake. Man, that man darted and went the other way. I was like, oh, you trash. So anyway, the snake has finally slithered all the way across to where it was gonna go. But when I first walked in the door, I saw this woman. The job that she does, all of her stuff is housed over there. She was over there by herself. And I was like, let me go let me carefully go around here and tell her to come from over there because there's a snake right here. So that's what I did. So I called her name. She looked at me. I said, come over here. There is a snake over here. I don't want it to slither under there and come over there to where you are. Even though it's a small snake, I don't know if you're scared of them. I personally am. So come on. So she came immediately. I said, okay. Y'all, tell me why. A minute after the snake that passed that I had removed this woman from over there, this dude that lived for me gonna come through the door. So he just came back from break. So he looking at me, and I'm like, child. And so he trying to figure out, why I'm in distress. He trying to figure out why I'm in distress, right? And so I was like, there's a snake right there. He don't see it because the snake then went up against like this like beam. And like I said, it was small, but it's still a snake and I ain't got time. So he don't see it. Like the thing that he went up against is white. But because it was like more so on the floor, he didn't see it. So he kind of trying to get up on, I said, it's right there. So I'm pointing to it. I'm telling him exactly where it is. He is not listening to me. So the snake inherently seemed like it was like, you know what? All right, since you don't want to hear what she said, let me show you. I'm right here. So the mug slithers out towards him. So I said, it's right there. It's coming out towards you now. So now he sees it. He backs up. So the woman is like, why don't you kill it? You got a big foot. Your boot big enough to cover it. Why don't you kill it? I'm saying to myself, girl, that is not how this works. If he's not a snake person, you can't just tell somebody to do something that they ain't comfortable with. And he told me he don't fool with snakes like that. So I was like, okay. So luckily he had his radio on him, right? He called the supervisor. This is the side heifer supervisor, or I guess you want to say prior supervisor, because a lot of the time when I look at the schedule, even though I'm not over there, I look at the schedule to see, what's going on, how they incorporate the new people, because it's so many people. I can't, the Lord, I don't understand. It's too many people. So I'm like, okay, her name is over there in the department, which is my old department, over there for her to work. So, there are times they'll have her somewhere else in her old department, but her old supervisor immediately came out there and he was like, where is it? So by the time he came out there, the snake then went halfway in between this like little rack or whatever. Cause it went up against this rack. And this rack is like, if I were to lay on the ground, it's like, I'm 5'3". So it's like my height and just a little bit over. Like just me laying straight down on the ground. Like it's not double my height. It might be my height and a half or something like that. This mug then went halfway across that up under there, right? And so he went up to it and he trying to show him where the snake at. Now I don't went all the way away, but at the same time, I'm watching him because I need to see you remove this snake. I need to see you kill it, whatever you gonna do. Man, he finally see the snake. And apparently the snake, like I said, then went up in between, like in the dead middle of this shelf. So he had to tap on it to get him to like move because it was just sitting there. So he get it to move, and so it slithers out really quickly, right, y'all? So he tried to get it. He tried to pick it up. Child, the woman had handed him a paper towel. So it started slithering really, really fast, and it started kind of squirming, getting away. So he keep trying to step on it without hurting it. And I'm like, stop this. I'm just looking at him like, you don't kill this. Child, he ain't killed nothing. He just sat up there, finally got it under his foot, and he, put enough pressure on it so he could finally stop it from moving as much so he could pick it up. Picked it up with the paper towel, and he was like, well, I'm not supposed to kill him. And then he went and took it outside. I was like, man, you should have killed that mess. I ain't got time for this. So, y'all, it was a whole to-do. And I don't know why. Kid you not. The video that y'all should have seen was me taking it out as it has already gotten, halfway across the floor. I don't know what prompted me to take my phone out my pocket and go to the recording screen to record it, but I did. I don't know if someone on the inside was like, girl, if you don't record this, ain't nobody gonna believe it happened. I don't know. Because normally I don't just pull my phone out and start recording like that. No, I don't know. Especially in a situation like that, as much as I cannot with a snake. I don't know what that was about, but I did what I did. I still got it in my phone, as you can see, because I should have already put it on that screen. But yeah, I'm tired of my spirit. Y'all, it has been a thing to the point where everybody for the rest of this week, even people on other shifts, it's like, I don't know, somebody gave them a description. They were like, were you the one who found the snake? I'm looking like, how you know? Girl, I don't even know you. Child, it was a mess. So I politely went around. It did tell me why. Like I told y'all before, when nobody never around, right? Why everybody started appearing again. So I started going off on everybody. So I remember I told y'all last week. Last week, it was like attack me last week. It was just attack her, just attack me from all angles. Every single day of the week, several people like actively went off on me. They kept talking about I think I'm better than them. And I think I'm this and I think I'm that because I'm working back there. And I was like, y'all do know I'm filling in, right? This is not my job. I mean, fill in. This person is not here. So I'm filling in for them. That's literally all that's happening in this moment, right? People really been going off. Like, yeah, you been acting funny. I was like, if one more person say this, like, people really been trying to make it seem like I'm over here just living my life and I'm acting funny and I don't speak to nobody. Now, one person in particular, the dude I told y'all about that was over there talking to one of the people that work in the office that do our scheduling or whatever, he gonna talk to her talking about, oh, well, I ain't got nobody around here that I could talk to. Nobody has any intellectual conversations and all this other stuff for me. And I'd rather talk to a woman back home. Okay, we'll go do that. So he saw me. I saw him, but I was in my phone texting somebody. Like I literally was in the middle of texting somebody. So I just was paying attention to that, walking, and I was about to head back from my break, right? So he was like, hey, how you doing? So I looked up, I said, hey. He was like, yeah, you saw me, so you just wasn't even gonna speak. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, see, that's messed up. I laughed on the inside. But it's like, why you want to try to talk to me? Because, since I'm not gonna give you no sex, then you like ever since you realized that you ain't gonna get no sex from me, everything has been different. And you don't really be wanting to talk. And ever since you said what you said, that turned me off from wanting to have any type of a communication with you anyway. Because we've had great conversations that ain't had nothing to do with sex. But you want to act crazy, like I'm dumb. Like I know what it's hitting for. You think you gonna come over here and have sex with me and all of that. No, baby, I ain't gotta do all that. I got me a little yeah with the yeah. So if I want something, I can bust it wide open for somebody I know it's gonna please me. But I ain't got to unless I want to. But you ain't the one that's gonna be on the menu. Sorry, it's just not gonna happen. So anyway, y'all, I already had to deal with the foolishness last week where everybody was attacking me. This week, I said, oh no, let me set it off on everybody. Everybody that normally roll up on me, normally come out of nowhere. When I tell you, I started seeing people left and right. I said, where were you? Every time I look up, with nobody around. When I needed y'all. But any other time, here y'all go. I went up to old boy, who the woman got into it with me and got smart with me, talking about, well, the wife told me that this is her husband's name and he got fired and da 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 da. I went up to him. I said, where were you? I said, where were you? Any other time I run into you all day long, you were nowhere to be found. You left me and you should have known. You should have been able to sense that I was in trouble. I was going off on the people. They were like, what? I was like, yeah, you should have been able to sense that I was in trouble. And your spidey senses and all that should have went off. And you should have came to my rescue. But no, you didn't. I was going off on the people. But anyway, I'm telling you, when I tell you everybody reappeared, I'm just like, where were y'all when I actually needed y'all? But anyway, child. So here go the shenanigans, y'all. I gotta take my glass. Hold on, I gotta take them off. When I tell y'all, I cannot believe this foolishness unfolded the way it did, and people who needed to see it saw it. Let me tell y'all about the foolishness. Go ahead and get your snacks. Let me tell y'all. I'm still debating in this moment if I'm gonna release the picture. Just gonna block the face. Okay, y'all. So we were not operational, and when we're not operational and we're doing things and we're still working, doing certain things or whatever. If we want to, which they normally try to do, we all go to break at the same time. So we all ended up going to either our first or our second break. This was the day that I had my muscadines. So I had just finished washing my muscadines off. My friend that's like T-Pain without the locks or the money or whatever, we talking. So we having a good old conversation, y'all. We was almost done with the conversation. I had my back turned to him walking away because he was saying something crazy to me. So I'm laughing. Y'all, at the corner of my eye, I saw the not so married man walk through the door. So I was like, man, let me get away from here. Because Normally I go somewhere where he cannot find me, he cannot follow me because it's only for women to be at. Like, you can't go in here. That's where I normally eat. But if I don't want to eat there, I'll just go out in the common area, in the cafeteria, whatever you want to call it, at my job. Lately, last week, almost every day last week, we had all kinds of stuff popping off. So I was out there with the woman and with him, and I would, talk to them. So I done just washed my muscadines off. I'm talking about my whole back was turned to him because I'm walking off. My bag is in front of me, turned away from him. Old boy just came through the door, which means he's now behind me, so he didn't see me. Tell me why he talking about muscadines. Because I guess he's never heard of the word muscadine, and he's just calling them what's the Power Ranger? What's the Power Ranger? Muscadine. What you know what it is. I'm saying it wrong now because of him. But anyway, he's calling them like different Power Rangers names and stuff. I was like, no, muscadine. I'm over here spelling it for him and everything. He's trying to be funny. So anyway, we talking. Conversation finna be over with. And like I said, my back is turned. An old boy to walk in the door, but I did see him at the corner of my eye. I can see this man at the corner of my eye zoom in on me and this man having an interaction because we were just laughing down about something. Me and him, like the conversation is about to end, we laughing down and he's still talking to me. But the conversation is about to end and I'm kind of like walking off from him like, yeah, let me get away from you because you're doing too much. That's what was happening in that moment, right? He done walked in the door. I said to myself, Lord. Tell me why. He overhears me say grape, muscadine, all of this. So he just starts talking. I'm talking about just opened the door, just got in the door and was like, yeah, my sugar low. Let me get a grape. I was like, I said, let me ignore him. Let me ignore him. Now keep in mind, I already had a conversation with old boy. He was like, well, why do you still talk to him? I was like, I didn't talk to him for the longest after everything went down where I found out he was lying to me and all of that. Like, I was so furious. And I said to myself, let me let this go. Meaning the anger that I had. Because it's like I can't stand for nobody to lie to me. It's like it's unwarranted. You didn't lie to me prior to this. What was the reason for you lying now? Like, work out whatever you're gonna work out with your wife. Because you lied to me like you had gotten a whole divorce decree. You made it seem like you had gone to court. You had done all of this, and y'all ain't together no more. But I'm seeing pictures that she has, she's they were hidden at one point in time, and now they're revealed again. Y'all got family portraits and stuff up here, and you ain't said nothing, and all. I'm just like, what is y'all still together? What is going on? Like, I ain't got time for this. Like, all kinds of stuff just being revealed left and right, especially after old girl told me what she said. And I'm just like everything started to line up. So now you want to look at my face. Leave me alone. So I'm ignoring him. He was like, yeah, let me get a grape, my sugar low. And so, old boy gonna be messy. Like, go ahead and give him a grape, his sugar low. Because he knows exactly who he is. Now, at this point in time, now he knows who he is. Because he was like, I don't know who this is. I said, yes, you do. Showed him a picture of him. He was like, oh, I do know who that is. I was like, yeah, I know you know him. He knows the foolishness. He knows about all of the foolishness that has gone down with this situation. And so I already told him, I was like, you don't understand. This man fixates himself on me. He fixates on me. I don't get it. You have a whole wife and child at the house. Go deal with them. You lied to me like you got divorced and you didn't. Leave me alone. Like, it's like he won't get the hint. Like, I really will ignore him and he will roll all the way up on me. Tell me why I'm ignoring him. This man will roll all the way up on me. Just kept repeating, let me get a grape, my sugar low. And they always tell me, go ahead. Why does Heifer walk in the door? Why? Why she walked in the door? She saw what was going on. She was like, this Heifer broke out into a full-blown dance. And I looked at her. I said, I will beat you down in this room. When I tell you the Lord be knowing, the Lord be knowing. Because, first of all, wasn't that many people in there. And the people that were in there, they don't care nothing. They didn't care nothing about that situation. So it's not like they'll be like, oh, look like a little funny situation was going on over there with them two. Like other people, whenever they've seen me and him together, they've automatically assumed something was going down just because they were speaking to me. Any man that speaks to me, certain people, when they see certain people talk to me, they automatically think, oh, they must be screwing. I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know these people from Adam. People roll up on me and talk to me all the time just because I'm me. People gravitate to me just because I'm me. I can't help that. So anyway, y'all, like I said, the Lord be knowing. The messy people who would have ran with this information weren't in there. Look, when I tell y'all the people who would have ran with this information and would have finally put all kinds of stuff together, they wasn't in there at the moment. First of all, one of them, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really even trying to say they messy, but it's just I don't want them to know my information. I don't want them to know about this situation ever. So with this situation, they were running behind. They came like 30 minutes after everything went down. I don't know why. The Lord be knowing. I don't care how it happened. Thank you, Lord, because ain't nobody had time for it. So this heifer done bust in the door. She breaks out into a full-on dance. I don't even know where this heifer get this energy from. Normally her back hurt. Normally her knee hurt. Normally her leg hurt. This heifer broke out to a full-blown dance. I looked this heifer like, no, you didn't, heifer. I said, I will beat you in this room. She bust out laughing. And so he is so fixated on me that he did not hear this heifer say, let me take a picture of this. I said, you better not. He don't even hear her. He don't even hear this heifer say, let me take a picture of this moment. So this heifer really took her for, I said, this heifer better not, I'm saying to myself, this heifer better not take a picture. She better not take a picture of this foolishness. This heifer not only took a picture, she took a picture and sent it to me. Y'all, she got one of the moments where this man had gotten all the way up on me and was like, let me get a grape, my sugar low, with his mouth wide open in front of me. And I'm just looking at him like, y'all, I just can't. I can't. So old boy, he had already went on by his business. He had warmed his food up. I mean, I think he had tea. He warmed his tea up. Like, he's trying to do right. I done rubbed off on him. He doing all his alkaline stuff right. I ain't doing nothing. Barely. I ain't gonna lie, I was doing so good, y'all. Oh my gosh, it don't even make no sense. I was doing good. But I'm getting back on it. So anyway, this man keep on saying what he's saying, and like he really kept saying it, and I was just like, so I started walking off. So he started walking off with me. How everything going back there? Are you liking it back there? I was like, yeah. So then he just starts talking to me about random stuff at work, and I was just like, please let this man get away from me. I'm trying not to be evil. I'm really trying not to be evil because everything in me wish that I was that type of person that'll cuss you out and go off on you and tell you all the way about yourself right in this moment in front of everybody, despite them not knowing the situation. It really took everything in me. So I'm just like, I'm gonna answer these questions. Please let this man get away from me. Go smoke your cigarette and get one. Please get on somewhere. So eventually he went on about his business. So then I go over there to where they at, because her and old boy, they went over to this particular area and went over to eat. So now they joking on me. My phone already got the message notification that came through that this heifer that sent me the picture. She was like, oh, I told you I was going to send it. I said, no, you didn't. And she over there dying laughing. I said, oh, heifer. Oh, I could have snatched you. So other people have finally entered. And now they seeing and they trying to figure out what we talking about. Child. I got to go back. Let me tell y'all what happened. So we was doing something. Crazily enough, that day, this is when all of us were there. One of the people in particular don't even work in our department, but she was over there in the midst. So they start talking about old boy, the not so married, not so divorced man, talking about him. They didn't say his name. So then both of them collectively start saying, who? And in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit, in my soul, everything, I said, please don't say this man's name. I know the heifer know not to say his name. I didn't say to him, don't tell nobody about this situation. So this whole time I'm praying, I said, Lord, please. Please, Lord, don't let this man say this man's name. Please, Lord. I don't know if some kind of way something told him to shut up, but he didn't say that man's name. But we was talking about the whole, I'm talking about everything. We was talking about how everything happened, how he did what he did. And I was just like, see, now y'all see what I'm talking about. I be minding my business and he roll up. Like I really be feeling like everybody think I'm lying. I don't have a reason to make none of this stuff up. This man really be rolling up and just start talking to me. And I just be like, please leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm trying not to cuss you out. Like in that moment, I really like he don't even understand. Initially when he rolled up and got all the way up on me and was like, let me get a grape, my sugar loaf, and just opened his mouth up, I wanted to slap him and I wanted to be like, you know what? Because I really was about, I had to hold my tongue. If I didn't think before I spoke that day, I was going to say, tell your wife to do it. Why don't you ask your wife to do all these things? Because, you're still married, right? I was about to do it. I said, ooh, Lord, let me, ooh. I'm finna get real reckless. Because for me, when you try me for no reason, and you want to keep trying me and you want to make it seem like I'm a dummy, I'm going to show you how much of a dummy I really am not. And so I was going to go there and be real reckless. And so I was like, let me just, like, please tell this man to get away from me, Lord. Get him away from me. Get this man away from me, Lord. So, child, when I tell y'all the Lord heard me that day, when I told him, I said, please don't let this man say this man's name. Please, Lord. Because they was going to start connecting all types of dots and I ain't got time. And so they kept saying, who? I was like, no. I was like, please, Lord, please, no. No. So he never said his name. Hallelujah in the name. I don't know if I decided to put the picture up or not, y'all. But yeah, y'all know I look a fool. My body is look like the Michelin Man and some more. I already know that. It is what it is. And I got lymphedema going on, so I know I look a fool, but I had to block his face out. But do you peep how his pants and stuff look? Normally he don't do that. Like normally he's really, really crisp, clean. I don't even know where the shoes came from. I don't even know what's going on. Normally he don't even wear shoes like that. And he got a pants leg up over one of the shoes. I was like, I feel like he was a little drunk or something then. Because I don't know what. I was just like, what is wrong with him? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But anyway, child, I was not ready for that. When I tell y'all, the Lord be knowing, because I really be feeling like don't nobody believe me. So now I'm glad they finally witnessed how I be minding my business and he rolls up out of nowhere. So the last thing I'm going to tell y'all is this. Today, minding my business, it's 2 a.m., 2:30, 2 a.m., whatever. I get a message that comes through. It's from one of the three amigos. It's me and these two dudes. We all the three amigos. Now, this is the one that I don't get to see like that. I ain't seen this man in I don't know how many weeks. Because his schedule is like completely different from mine. He be all the way gone if we are there at the same time. But like as of right now, his schedule is completely different from my schedule. So when I come in, there's a slim chance I'm not going to see him at all. Because his last day of the work week is Thursday. I come in on a half day on Wednesday. I work 12 on Thursday. And he leaves. Like he clocks out right at 8 and be gone. He don't stay around for nothing. And there are times, most of the time, I'm staying around. I'm doing stuff, whatever. Stuff been popping off. I've been having to stay around. And, before I get to that, y'all. So, all kinds of stuff popped off, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to remember everything. So, they told us that the man who ended up training me on the day side was going to come in. And we looking like, why? So, he only was going to talk to us because he does our job. So, he was going to direct whatever it is he had to say to us, only to us. So, the supervisor on that particular shift said he wanted to be present. So, to call him when he came, he was going to come 2 hours before our shift ended. So, I was just like, why? I was like, is this the day that he comes in? Because if it is, he's going to pull a 14-hour shift. Or is he going to leave 2 hours early because he came in 2 hours early? Like, I'm not understanding. So, anyway, he did end up pulling 14 hours that day. Wouldn't have been me. But anyway, so he came in. When he came in, he didn't say, hey, bye, nothing to nobody. He just started doing stuff, slamming stuff around. And we were just like, what is this about? We didn't even understand. We were just like, oh, okay. Child, I'm talking about for 10, 15 minutes straight, just, we looking at him. We all standing just next to each other, just looking like, we don't even know why we're here. Like, you cutting into my break time. What is we doing? I don't even understand why we're here. So, he finally said something. So then when he do say something, he was like, all right, so what did I do? What's the first step? And so, old boy, that's like T-Pain, he looked at him, he was like, I don't know. Like, what are you talking about? Because he just started doing random stuff. Didn't say nothing. It's not like he was like, hey, y'all, good morning. How y'all doing? I'm here to talk to y'all about this. Da 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 da. He came in and literally started doing stuff, walking places. He walked all the way off, walked out of the room, went somewhere else, did something, came back. We was just like, okay, what are we even here for? Like, none of us, not even upper management, knew why he was there. All we knew was that he was coming, and we was just like, okay. so so when he said that, we was just like, what are you talking about? So then he tries to go over this thing, telling us that he talked like I don't know. I don't know if he just, to make a long story short, without really telling y'all what I do, I feel like he sat up there and he pondered upon what might be something that could hinder certain things that we do, as we have a process that we do certain things. And we was just like, is that really gonna make a difference like that? Like, okay, like we really need him to come here early? Like, and I don't understand a lot of y'all. What he told us, he could have told us when he came on the floor when it was time for them to work. It would have took him 5 minutes or less, which means since their meeting is 10 minutes prior to us getting off, he would have came on the floor, would have had 5 minutes left. By the time it's time for us to clock out, because we can't clock out before 8, he could have told us this in 5 minutes. It took him almost 30, 45 minutes to do all this. And I told them, I said, I don't care what y'all do. I'm taking my break, because I had already foregone one of my breaks that week. I don't play any of that, because they will get over on you all the time. They'll work the mule out of you and then make it seem like, oh no, like, no, baby, I need my break. And then, like, child, one day I was going to go on break, and less than 5 minutes, if I would have left to go on break right then, it would have been less than 5 minutes before old boy came back, because he was the breaker that week. The guy who is like T-Pain, right? And so the woman I'm working with, she was like, you can't leave before he comes back from break. There's supposed to be 2 of us back here, and if we can't handle it, da 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 da. And I'm just like, she does this all the time, y'all. When I tell y'all, ain't nothing going on. Like, I'm used to breaking out 2 people at the same time. When I've been the breaker on the other shifts, I've only been the breaker one time. And when I was the breaker, there were times I was letting their breaks overlap so that I could make sure that I could still go on my break on time and everybody get what they need to get. Like, and then it's crazy because she's saying all this, but when she go on break, he'll leave and go do something else. And I'm holding it down by myself because ain't nothing going on. It ain't that deep. Like, you've been doing this job for a year. I ain't hardly been doing it 6 months. And I'm still training and learning stuff. So I brought this back to tell y'all this. So during the course of this situation where old boy came in 2 hours early, the guy had went to do something. And so he asked me, because I'm trying not to say this, but it is what it is. It's obvious that he liked something about me or whatever. And like, it's been like this since before he got the position that he's in now and all that. Cause I would notice him like staring at me and like laughing when I would say stuff to certain people because I was saying something that was funny to them. And I'm not even talking to him, but he over here, like, that's how people do when it comes to me. So he rolled up and he was like, so why don't you know how to do nothing? And so I didn't laugh. Like, when old boy left out, I was asking people, I was like, okay, so tell me what he did, go to the screen and show me exactly what he did in order to get that to be the result, because he never showed us. I'm gonna need for you to show me, since y'all trying to act like y'all know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have been back here. I'm still learning. Y'all need to show me what to do. So he chimed in. Like, he waited for a minute, and then, like, it was just kind of basically us by ourselves. And he was like, so why is it that you don't know nothing? Like, he said it like that. And so I didn't take any offense to it, because it is what it is. I told him, I said, every single time when I was being trained on the other shift, something happened to the degree where all of maintenance was back here. Every single time maintenance was back here, I've never seen anything from start to finish. You would not be able to pay me to be able to tell you what I'm supposed to do from start to finish, and I should know this. It's not from my lack of trying. It's not that I don't want to know. I literally have never been able to see it from start to finish. I've never been able to execute anything from start to finish, and I should be able to do that. And then there's this sheet back there that's supposed to show you, and I'm like, it start like in the middle of it, and I'm just like, is part of the sheet gone? Like people have always told me, worst case scenario, just read that piece of paper. It'll tell you what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, but it don't though. like it don't. So the next day, because the only reason why this one woman was there, like I told y'all, it was one woman, she would have been trying to be nosy and be in my business. She ended up volunteering to work because this other dude called off because we were going to have a whole lot of work to do. This has been like 2 weeks in a row, they say. They said that the week prior, we had a lot of work to do, and he knew that when we came back, we would have a lot of work to do in order for us to become operational, so he called off again. Well, she ended up finding out about it and took over the spot, because I'm just like, we can take our time. Like, we have so much time before it's time for us to become operational. Like, and then where he was working, he really wasn't gonna have to do much. He would just have to come out there and help us a little bit. Like, we weren't gonna require him to do much because he's not really obligated to help us like that. Like, he's really not. But, you know, everybody else that does that, if your area is already done, you're supposed to come and help us. It's like, that's just how it goes. Anyway, so that's why she was there. She was in the building, and her friend works on that particular shift. And so the two of them were trying to figure out what we was talking about when that situation went down, where we were talking about the not so divorced man, right? It was too much. So anyway, the guy was supposed to be showing us all this stuff. And like I said, the supervisor straight up asked me, so why don't you know nothing? So I explained that to him. And then he asked me again. Like, he asked me like 3 different times. And I kept explaining to him various times. And I said, and there have been other people who've asked me. And I mean, it's not my fault. Like, it's not that I'm not trying to learn. It's literally not my fault. And so, he acted as if he understood. I said, okay. So then I told the woman the other day, she was like, what? I was like, yeah, he asked me, why don't I know anything? She was like, he said those words? I was like, yeah. And I explained to him. But what's funny, y'all, is that none of them know what to do. They said, I'm going to just be up front with you. Now, when the supervisor left and everybody else left, I'm going to be up front with you. I don't know what I'm doing like that. And I'm just like, so y'all just skating by and don't know how to do this stuff? Like, this is important stuff that y'all should know how to do. And y'all don't know how to do it. And I'm supposed to be able to lean on y'all as somebody that's training. And this is not my permanent position. I'm trying to know and learn what I need to do, but y'all don't even know what to do. Come on now. Like, that's crazy to me. So, yeah, it was a mess. But anyway, did he text me again? Yeah. So anyway, now to the end, because I did not expect this to be this long, but so much stuff did pop off. And then this random thing I'm about to tell y'all about now. So anyway, y'all know I used to tell y'all all the time about the side heifer. Y'all know, especially, okay, now if y'all are new here, the side heifer is somebody who is a side chick at my job that's in her feelings because this married man that she's screwing at my job is screwing everybody else. And, anybody he can get to spread their thighs and butt cheeks. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. He has not gotten so much as a handshake or nothing from me. He wishes that he could. He used to approach the not so divorced man, somebody who he told me he was getting divorced. If you don't know about that either, he's somebody who told me he was getting divorced. His wife left him. He showed me the empty house and everything where she had moved everything but the couch out because the family members couldn't lift that. Left him with everything, the bills and stuff. I mean, he was already paying all that anyway, but he ain't had nothing but a couch to his name because she took everything. They have a child together. And so he kind of made it clear to me that he only married her because he didn't want her out here looking crazy with a baby that they had created because they was out here being reckless the way they was having sex. I said, oh, okay, do what you do. So then, come to find out, I know a lot of his relatives. I'm cool with a lot of his relatives. And before this situation, anything he's ever said to me, I've been able to have and find and get receipts that these things did happen. So he all of a sudden started lying to me as if he'd gotten a divorce. So he told me, oh, I got a divorce. I've been had a divorce in this month, whatever. And I was like, oh, where the divorce decree at? He said it's at the house. I got it back in, I think he said April or whatever. And divorce decree at the house. I said, okay. So for months, for like pretty much 6 months straight, I would say little stuff to him and do little stuff to implicate, okay, you probably lying, you still got a wife, because I don't trust it. I ain't seen no divorce decree. Let me see what it's in for. So he just made it, the way he would say everything, and it wasn't no hesitation in it or none of that, it seemed like he was telling the truth. And so I finally let it go, and I was like, okay, maybe he's telling the truth. Like, this is what pissed me off about him. And that's what I had to explain to my friend, the guy. He didn't understand why I'm just not here for it at all. This man made it seem like he had gotten divorced, right? He kept saying, "Oh, I want to go home with you to see your parents, meet your daddy. I want to ask your daddy for your hand in marriage someday. But before that, I want to ask him if I could date you." Setting it off, right? And I'm just like, okay, I hear you talking, whatever. I'm gonna let you cook, but absolutely not. Like I just kept saying to him, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Like I don't trust. So luckily I was in a I don't trust you type of situation in my mind. So yeah. And it was just a mess. And right when I was about to start believing in any of these things, it just ended up being a situation. Listen to me. Somebody trying to listen to what I'm doing. I'm about to pause this. I'll be back. Okay, I think they're gone. So anyway, because trying to listen to what I'm talking about. Like, they really be standing there. I feel like, wait a minute. Yeah, she gone and her hair car cranking up. So anyway, she left out early. I was going to be done before she normally come out. She normally come out 30 minutes from now. So anyway, so, so I told y'all about the not so divorced dude and all that. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing. So with the not so divorced man, all that stupidity was going on, and I'm just like, you sitting up here trying to play in my face. Like, he did all this, and it was to the I brought him up to say that he did all of this to the point where he was like, I want to meet your folks, I want to talk to your daddy, I want to travel with you when you go home to Alabama. And he also was doing stuff here like, I wish that I could hug you in front of everybody so everybody knew you were mine. I wish I could do this in front of everybody so everybody knew you were mine. And he was about to make me look like a fool at work. If I would have ever agreed to any of the stuff he was talking about, like us hugging and kissing and all this other stuff in front of everybody at work, you know, everybody else would eventually caught on to the tea and realize that this man was still married. And I'm being a hypocrite and being just like the side heifer, and I'm dealing with a married man. When I tell y'all, I mean, this man really was like, I want his heart. Like, every time I looked up, this man talking about, I want to take you out on a date. I want you to start coming to my house so we can spend time together. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, really trying to make it seem like he making plans, but he still got a whole wife that he ain't divorced from. Like, leave me alone. But what trips me out is that he tried to act like he knew that I'm not that type of woman that's here for that, and that I deserve better, and that I'm a better caliber of woman that is not trying to deal with no married man. Like, he said that off rip, because once he first asked me for my social media information, he scrolled and he saw the video that I made at the side heifer, because that day pissed me off so bad, because I was just like, once I finally realized her hate for me was because a man that don't belong to her, that she ain't got papers on, live for me. They ain't got nothing to do with me. At least once a month, that man going to him, the not so married man, asking him about me. In turn, he then comes asking me, am I sure that he and I ain't got something going on? Because he sure will be asking about me all the time. And I'm like, I don't know that man like that. I don't know him. I do not know him. When I see him outside of work, it's when him and the side helper sneak into the grocery store, parking next to each other in the parking lot, doing the most. That's when I see them outside of work. Instead of him going home to his wife and children, he up in her face. Child. So anyway. But yeah, so anyway, like, it was just to the point where I was just like, I'm so glad that them people were behind and doing whatever they was doing. When I tell you the Lord be knowing, the Lord be coming through, because any other time they would have came with us. They would have saw the whole situation unfold and everything would have been blown. That whole cover, everything I've been trying to do, all that would have been covered. Blown to smithereens. It would have been over with. So yeah. But anyway, so now what has happened is I got messages starting from like 2 something this morning, where one of the 3 amigos texted me, and he basically was like, I see what you're talking about. You tried to warn me. I should have listened to you. Da 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 da. I'm gonna put it up here. But the gist of it is that she tried to get him to agree to something that he wasn't the case. He wasn't there, a part of, and all this other stuff. And now she being shady. She tried. Like, my thing is this. I've gotten to the point where, usually I try to be
on me? Yes,
very neutral in the situation, where if they're asking me about stuff that they've heard, or they're asking me and they're like, oh, so how is this person? I try not to say nothing, especially when it comes to her. You're not going to say that I put something in their ear and now this is why they acting like this. No. So at first, he didn't know why I was saying what I was saying, because I became cool with him before we became like the 3 amigos, me, him, and the other dude. But he was just like, why y'all got beef like that? I don't even understand. I was like, it's not that I have beef. She has beef with me. And I told him what the situation was and what other situations are that she has going on. And he was just like, that's stupid. And I was like, she's stupid. Like, it is what it is. He even said she too old to be acting like this. Like, the heifer just had a birthday in July, I think. So she's 42 or 43, I think now. So it's like, I'm 39. He like 31, 32, I think. And I'm just like, you for him to even say this, like, he's way younger than you. You over here, he's what, 10 years younger than you, more than likely. 10, 11 years younger than you. And he even know that this is stupidity going on right here for no reason. It's literally for no reason, y'all. Like, people think I be making up stuff. I ain't got no reason to. I'm so glad that people be seeing stuff. Like, when I tell y'all stuff, people be happening upon the foolishness and see for themselves that this is not a situation, or these are not situations that I'm making up in my mind. But anyway, y'all, I'm sorry that this ended up being so long. It was just so much going on, and I'm dreading doing my hair. But I got to get up off of here and try to do something to it. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all later.